to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to I just need to clear my head. 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 I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I just need to. I just need to clear my head. I can't focus. I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my. I just need to clear my head. Oh, clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. And so hard to get it.
Good afternoon, race fans. We are here today, and we are starting live and direct. Live and direct with F1 racing for Green Hell Racing League. Guys are going to be racing on Xbox. Ruin is in the chat. It is so awesome how often you are here because you are so wonderful at entertainment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your head hurts. I hope that gets better for you very soon. I will try and keep it down. Well, you are here now because, that mod status I think is important. That's people I trust. And here's the thing, my other mods, usually I'm racing with them or they don't have time to, they don't really look like they're playing at the same time, right? So I figured, you know what? Ruin is always here. She's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just drop that mod on there last night. So I did it last night, like right towards the end of the stream and said, yep, there it is. So we'll do that. I think it's awesome. But welcome, everyone. We are here for F1 Racing. Now, today is a social race. Just having some fun getting into the new 2021. F1 2021 just releasing officially last Friday. A little bit of an early release for some folks, but just picking up on Friday. So, all that said, the official season start for the F1 League is actually next Saturday. Okay. But today is just kind of a fun race. Let the guys get on the track. I don't know how many we'll have, but it's going to be fun no matter what. I am learning the game. I got to play a little bit with the spectator mode this morning. It's actually a lot easier, I think, to control than it is in ACC. I'm using a controller. I could do it right on my PC, however, and not worry about it. And Dan is in the chat. Dan Alpha, one of our racers today, and the guy that hit me up and said, "Hey, you want to do this for F1?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do this for F1." And I just realized Spotify is on in my ear, but you guys probably can't hear it because I didn't even, which I'm going to shut it off soon anyway, but I should probably turn it on and we'll bring it down because it wasn't doing what it's supposed to do. All the part of the fun of using new overlay groups when you're just starting something, you forget all kinds of fun stuff. So CRS Ben is here. By the way, Ben, thank you for the follow. I'm going to pop that off because that did not show up when you followed because, again, was part of my overlay that was not there. And lay off my something, my sate?
I absolutely
Hey, man,
love.
welcome to the party. We are here for some great F1 racing today. Let's jump right over just to our track screen. So, as you guys, this is going to be a learning experience of being able to keep an eye on what is going on track. So, Dan is running the show, and we're just going to wait to load in. I am already in spectator mode, waiting for the load in. So we will see how it goes when things starting. Are you going to be streaming all the season? I am, sir. Season starts next week on the 24th. Obviously, with doing ACC on Sundays, it's really going to come down to family time, right? So if I got something going on, I might not be able to be here. But I'm going to do my best to make every race, right? I really am going to do my best. There'll be times I can't, but sometimes real life jumps in, right? But I'm going to do my best for you guys, just like I do for the ACC guys, to make sure I'm here and that we are getting all the race coverage we can. So I think it'll go well. I really do. But some new followers today. This is awesome. Ruin's here. Ruin is now a mod. And listen, you guys have to listen to Ruin. She's got the hammer. But I know you guys will. I'm not worried about that. It's more about when I'm not sitting at the PC and we get spammed more than anything. But I think it's going to be great. We're going to go ahead and watch. We got a good lineup today so far. I wasn't sure how many people would be here as far as racing goes because, again, it is a social race. It's not part of the season. And so to see, what do we got? I can't even count right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys so far, right? 8, 9? Did I count? No, 8. 8 drivers. I'm 9, but I'm spectating. So 8 drivers so far. Maybe we'll get a few more to join, hopefully. We've got about 2 minutes till race time. 29 laps. Equal performance on the cars. One thing I will say is, unlike GT3, I don't know these vehicles. I don't know the rules of F1 real well. I've watched a few races. We're going to be using today's race to do some exploring around the different screens that are possible and what kind of data we can bring you. Also, absolutely, Ruin. Everybody else here should be chill. You are welcome to mute and or ban Chief Blaze if he shows up anytime you want. He's another mod, but whatever, you could just ban him. I don't care. So I'm going to be learning F1 as I watch these guys, and my hope today is not only to play after the race today. I'm going to play the game myself a little bit and try and learn some stuff about setups and how the setups work in F1 versus ACC. Also, I don't know all these drivers, right? If you talk about the ACC League for Green Hell, I've watched enough and I've driven enough with a lot of the drivers that I can comment on the kind of driver they are and the kind of issues or things that might come up, and do they pit late or do they pit early, and all these different things. That's not something I can do with the F1 guys yet, right? So that being said, I'll ask for y'all's patience as we get this going, and like anything else, I think it will greatly improve over time. So yes, a mod war. We should definitely have a mod war between you and Chief. You'll win because he just breaks down and would probably cry at some point, which is fine. If you can make him cry, that's even better. That's better than banning him as far as that goes. So it'd be fantastic. So again, we see the team list. I don't know for this. Now, I think during the season the guys race on teams, right? I don't know that in this race they are. Obviously, we see multiples, right? I see 2 Red Bull drivers. Other than that, I think today's kind of go with what you race what you brung kind of deal, right? I think the guys are free to do what they want, but I know in looking, and I'm sure Dan could fill me in before the season actually starts next week, on how the drivers are picked, how the teams are picked, and how that works with scoring and everything throughout the season. And again, once the season's getting closer to starting, Teams will be sorted next Friday. Perfect. So that'll kind of give an idea, and we can talk about that a little more next week in regards to, how the teams work, how the points work, all of that jazz. So I think that'll work out great. I know it's a little bit different. And one thing I do like about our F1 League at Green Hell is it's not a 5-race season, right? You guys know from GT3 we do about 5. I'll call them season races, right? Because we've been changing the format up, so they're not that straight 20-minute qual, 45-minute race anymore. We've done some sprint races and things, but they're 5 season races, and then typically an endurance race, a 4-hour endurance at the end with a separate pointing system, right? That being said, this league, and I would have to go look real quick because I don't have it up in front of you. The F1 league is actually running into October. I think it's 12 races. So for 12 Saturdays, it's all on the schedule for the channel. Everybody's welcome to go take a look. But for the next 12 weeks, I am going to cover as many of these races as I can. And from talking to Dan, there will be pro and AM class races this season versus what they've run in the past, which was all classes together. So hopefully I'm going to make as many as possible. 100%. I'm going to do everything I can to be here for all of them. And we'll be able to bring all the action from both pro and am drivers right here for Green Hell Racing. And while we are here and while we're waiting, I see Fez in the chat. Tsunami. Zorax is here to watch. A couple shout outs. We'll get that up front for everybody. If you are not following Reticent Ruin, she's awesome. Her streams are calm. They're chill. Plays whatever. You know what? Doesn't matter what she's playing because she stays chill the whole time, and I absolutely love it. It is fantastic to watch and to listen to. Unfortunately for me, Ruin tends to stream during sleepy time for me because I get tuckered early, typically mainly because I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning. I don't know why, even on Saturdays and Sundays. But Ruin's awesome. So if you're not following Ruin, head over there real quick, give her a follow because, again, it's not about the game. Obviously, racing, it's about the game. People are here to watch racing. My point being, it's not about the gaming. It's not about the game they're playing. It's about the streamer. And Ruin's one of the best. She's fantastic. As well, I do want to give a shout to Dan 00 Alpha because he does stream races right here. And one thing I think folks didn't get to see, we'll jump right back. Again, just like with the ACC races, if you're interested, if you go to multitwitch.tv, you can follow this stream along with some of the drivers that are driving that day as well if they're streaming. And I will try and update this list as we get through the season and I know who's streaming, who's not. Like Dan today, I'm sure he'll be streaming. And we'll get back to the race because, according to Dan, it is loading up right now. And here we go. But again, multitwitch.tv to get you guys going, and you can watch as many angles as possible and try to see all the action. I'm going to do my best to stick with it, but I also know F1 racing is fast and furious. So in today's race, just learning the controls, again, I will do my best. We're going to jump out a little bit. There you go. Dan 00 Alpha is definitely streaming today, so head over there, give him a follow to get as many racing angles as possible. I did play games with my overlay today to make sure things would stay out of the way but still provide people some information. So everyone's still in the pit. Now, right now we're under qualification for the next 17 and a half minutes. Playing no game. Are you unable to? No, you should. I'm not playing, no. As the guys roll out of the pits here. Stick with Bigelow on his lap. Now we can get onboarded. Now during qual we won't spend too much time doing this, but everyone now coming out on their out lap. There are fewer camera options with F1 is what I've found so far. There's basically a broadcast camera and we have the onboard camera. Now that's okay though. The important part is really trying to put myself focused on the driver that we are wanting to look at for where the battles are. And all of a sudden now it's giving me a whole bunch of cameras choices, even though I've told it I want to Two different things. There we go. So apparently it's just broadcast camera being weird. And we can get rid of that nonsense. And a quick spin from CRS Ben as he comes sliding around the corner. Sinsin God out on his outlap now. UCE Bigelow probably very, very happy that I am not driving today, given the last race we ran together and what happened. I can imagine he's quite happy to not have me out in Bahrain with him. Furry Jules in the Honda. We've got Sergeant Rainov. Lay off my salt. I got to assume it's lay off my salt, right? That's probably a good assumption, right? Ryan W 7799, Enter Tsunami, and Dan 00 Alpha. Dan's still in the pits and not quite on his lap yet. I'm sure making adjustments to that setup to pull the fastest qual he can. As we take a look in on Sinsin God, who has cleared their outlap and will now start running quals. And as we do this, we do need to take another quick look around at our spectator menu, because we can certainly go in and look at telemetry. And unfortunately this on the checkered line we can't. Unfortunately, for some reason, this game doesn't hold your selections. So I have to remember to turn on the telemetry and the lap data every time. We're going to leave the map off, I think. And gaps will start showing us fastest lap. But at least this way, we can go ahead and see telemetry for each driver as we go. Oh, I didn't want to do that. All right, where is... We don't want that. Fastest lap, UCE Bigelow with a 1:2.89 right now. And I have to learn the tire types too. S should be soft. As we pull up a yellow flag in Sector 2, Sinsin God pushes Bigelow down quickly along with Sargent, both hitting in the 1:27s, only half a second separating them. Bruin, we can absolutely do that. I could absolutely do that. I think I can use Stream Elements to do that. I'm pretty sure. Well, you know what? I'll look into it, because I'm with you 100% on that. I'm 100% on that. And listen, I already did one. Actually, you should talk to Doc Lepton, because oh my lord, Sinsin has decided that the wall is the place to be, and definitely took it full, breaking that wing off the front. Enter Tsunami in number 2 right now with a 1:27.304, pushing himself up into second behind Sinsin, knocking Sergeant Rainbow back a little bit. But we're seeing the top 4 all right now within that 1:27 lap time, with Bigelow hitting with a 1:28. CRS Ben, Furry Jules, Ryan W, and Dan 00 Alpha yet to set times. Dan still in the pits. But to your point, Ruin, you should talk to Doc Lepton, because I actually was able to... I did a giveaway at one point, and he was literally the only one that entered. I didn't really, advertise it. But through Humble Bundle, I have a ton of game codes that I could just start handing out. I actually need to talk to him, make sure they worked for him, because he never told me. So hopefully he used them, then they did work, because some of them are older. But we could certainly do that and have a betting system on the race and see who can pick the winner. I'll have to figure that out. I think I can do that with Stream Elements pretty easily, though. There are a bunch of commands there. I just don't throw them out. I just haven't thrown them out. I've made some custom commands, but I haven't done a lot. So there's GHR for the GHR Discord. There's my Discord. So Sinsin God still sitting in number 1 right now. Enter Tsunami and Sargent both into the pits, I assume making either quick setup changes. And we have a new fastest lap, again on those soft tires, from Ryan W with a breaking down below 1:27 to a 1:264. Able to push everyone back a little bit. My time was on mediums, by the way. So this is what I have to. This is part of what I got to figure out because. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go look at Sergeant. Oops. Let's go look at Sergeant. See, why does it have an S next to your name? All right, I got to figure out. So this is part of why we're doing this today, right? I thought there was a way. Here we go. We have to go into the pause menu. I apologize, folks. There we go. So I was right, but for some reason in the upper right-hand corner, it's showing soft no matter what anybody's driving. So even on Sergeant, we see here he is on the mediums, right? But up in the corner it was showing softs for everybody. So something we'll have to keep an eye on and make sure that we are keeping an eye on that. Raz, thanks for coming, man. Then fitted. Then fitted. Spectator menu, then detail, then fitted. Hold on. Spectator menu. Detail. Oh, there we go. Thank you, sir. It's either none, tire, or best. So I guess we want tire. Best and fitted. Yeah, there's no fitted. There's none, tire, and best. So if we stick with best, now it is showing the mediums for Sergeant and lay off my salt, so that should work. Thank you, gentlemen. This is why we are here today, party people. Going to learn all about it, get better, provide the best amount of information we can. See, very strange, because again, Sergeant's on his out lap, showing softs in that upper right-hand corner, but we see now that he is on mediums for one lap. Ryan W. still holding down that top time with a 1:2.64. No one yet able to match him. Now we are seeing that Sin God, I think Sin must have dropped because it won't even let me go to him anymore. But Enter Tsunami now in second, or what I would assume is going to be second once the race starts, with a 1:2.73. CRS Ben, Furry Jules, we have a new joiner, IFMC Fawn, who will now further be known as Fawn. Just joining, out running at this point. And Dan 00 Alpha still in the pits. Ryan W back into the pits, going to make some adjustments possibly. Now back on an out lap. Just got the game for PC. Raz, you got to come join these guys on Xbox, man. Although if you're a PC racer, I get it. There's usually a lot more options there. So a little under 8.5 minutes left in qual. Ryan W holding on to that top position, and the only one so far to break under 1:2.7. Sin got very close to that, along with Enter Tsunami, only 0.3 off break and below there. So we watch him crack out for another lap to see if he can get himself down a little bit further. Yellow flag's flying just a little bit. Now, one other thing, folks, if you would, those of you watching live, do me a favor. If the game audio is too low, too high, anything like that, please let me know. I do want some sounds, but I don't want to over blast myself. And Sergeant now Sergeant is now, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, Sergeant is now showing on those soft tires, the second one to break under that 127 with a 126.476, just 0.04 of a second faster than Ryan W. So I'm sure we are certainly going to see a little bit of running when we start the race. Sarge currently running low fuel. We'll see if he can make it back to the pits or just has to teleport there again. I haven't played this game enough to know. Dan 00 Alpha finally joining the track. Everyone now showing that other than lay off my salt, everyone out on softs today. With Synagog now being pushed down to 4th as Enter Tsunami becomes the 3rd to break under 127 with a 126.849. So, you know, we can see how close these guys run. This is not going to be an easy race for any of them. I don't see anyone just given qual times. I don't see anybody able to just run away with it. All very, very, very tight. So far, all 7 times set within a second and a half of each other or so. I mean, Dan 00 Alpha now number 4 to break under 127 with that 925 at 126. So again, a very, very tight race up front between the top 4 so far. All of them within much, much less than a second of each other. About a half a second. As I'm sure everyone got to listen to my mouse click for a moment as I made some adjustments. I was really hoping there'd be something different there. Tire, none. Best. So really we want to show tire, right? I think we want to show tire, don't we? Dan's showing right now about 3 seconds off his pace, so certainly not going to be a lap that gets him back up front. I think we want to show tire because that should be showing what everyone is on versus this being the best lap and what tire they were on, I would assume. Yeah. So as we look now, so we watch Dan head into the pits. Sargent's still holding on to that top spot. Him in the pits as well. Ryan going out for another outlap. See if he can shave that. If he can go grab those 400ths of a second. Do you decide whether or not you're going to race tomorrow? Red, you're going to have to be more specific, sir. I'm not sure who you're talking to. Ryan on his outlap. Keeping him warm. We'll see if he can clock one more and gain those last 400ths of a second that he needs. Most of our drivers now headed into the pit. Lay off my salt back out for another outlap. After I'm sure making some adjustments. Bigelow. That 1287. Going to try and pull that down before we run out of qual time here with only 3 minutes left to go before the race starts. CRS Ben has not yet set a time for us. I was talking about possibly racing tomorrow. No, sir, I will not be racing tomorrow. I am covering the race tomorrow. I don't remember saying that. There were copious amounts of alcohol consumed last night, but I don't remember saying I might race. If I do any racing, it's going to be race into my bed and take a nap. So no, I honestly don't remember that, dude. I really don't. But no, I will not be racing. I'll be covering. And we see CRS Ben now having set a lap right down there in 1282, pushing Bigelow just a little bit further down the paddock today. Fawn still in the pits, no laps run, no time set. Ryan W still not able to grab those 4 100ths of a second. We will have a nice tight start for the beginning of the race. You did find another mod. Yes, Red's a mod. I think Red is the only one who's actually ever done a mod action before, besides myself, actually. When we got Link stormed. He and I had to clean it up together because there were so many one night. Ryan W. now really putting it down, ending and pulling up to a 125.5, pushing Sergeant Rainbow by almost a full second, 9/10 there, to take the lead on that. As we go in and take a quick look at the race director, get some more information, a little more detail. You don't have to fight Red. Red's chill. Don't fight him. You fight Chief. Leave Red. Red's fine. Red doesn't misbehave. As we take a look down through here, Ryan again, W sitting up front, soft tires. Sergeant number 2 driving for Williams. Ran the mediums and the softs, but I'm pretty sure his best lap, he said, came on mediums. Again, something I'm going to have to look at and see where we go with that. Incidents, as we can take a look, a lot of corner cutting and track limits handed out. Terminal damage from Sinsengard. That's, I think, why we saw him leave. If he is still here, again, still learning this game, I don't know if it means he's gone, can't race, or if it's something where he will still be able to jump into the race. And if so, we will see him run. But again, as we take a look down through here, good number of invalidated lap times and warnings for speeding in pit lane even. So we'll have to keep an eye on that during the race to make sure and see if anything happens with the guys getting penalties for that. We jump back out quick. And that finishes qual with Ryan W., the only one. I'm sorry, lay off my salt now. This changed quite a bit, folks, while we were in there taking a look. Ryan W. still up front with a 125.5. Lay off my salt right behind him with a 125.7 and a 125.8 from Dan 00 Alpha, pushing Sargent and Tsunami both down to number 4 and 5 at the start in the 126 range. Did not expect to see that much change that quickly, but that happened very fast. And just goes to show why we should probably keep an eye. We do need to take a look at what happened to... And Sargent now jumping back up with a 125.442 right at the end of qualification. Just ending qualification and heading into the race. So that got shifted up quite a bit right at the end. And there's your starting lineup. Sergeant Rainoff starting off for Williams. Soft tires at a 125.4. Ryan W. right behind with a 125.3. So again, you see that we are super close. Again, this is Formula One, right? These guys are going to run tight, and they all should be able to do quite well. Lay off my salt retired. Now again, still learning this game, don't know what that means. Does that mean he'll be racing or not? We'll find out here in just a minute whether him and Sinsengard are actually able to race, given that one did not finish with terminal damage, and one said retired. Ryan is season 2 and 3 champ, by the way. So there you go. That tells you what kind of race we are going to have today. And keep in mind, this is a social race. The guys are here for fun. A little testing with the new game that just released Friday. The actual season for points starts next Saturday right here. And I would even have to go to look to see what the first track is. And if y'all give me a second, I will go do that. Oh, something bad's going to happen. Okay, it didn't. Yay. Next week's race, right here for F1, Britain, starting off at Silverstone. So Lay Off My Salt is on course, as is Sinsengard. Bigelow, however, has been disqualified from this race. And again, we'll have to find out why as we continue to watch and learn. And look at this. It doesn't even... Stops, tire, penalties. Oh, we're gonna have to switch all kinds of between this, right? Position change. We'll turn on our telemetry. We will turn on our late lap data for the disqualified for the formation lap. Okay. And there you have, folks. Predicted pit stop strategy. We get all kinds of fun stuff for this. This is gonna be just like real racing. As we keep an eye on things. Up the front with Sarge leading the pack for the formation lap. Bigelow will be dropping in after. So Ryan and Sarge starting right out on row 1. Salt and Dan Double O Alpha bringing up row 2. Enter Tsunami and Sinsingad, who we saw run a great lap up front and then have terminal damage during the rest of qual, unable to come back out and see if he could tighten that up a little bit. That's your row 3. Free Jules and Bigelow will start row 4 along with CRS Ben and Fawn in row 5. 10 drivers today, 26 laps on this race. I'm sorry, 29 laps on this race. As we watch our formation lap come together, guys putting heat in the tires. We will go ahead and keep it on tires for now, just to keep an eye out. Steadfast, my man, what is going on and why aren't you driving today? As we line up now, getting ready to come in for the start of the race. We will now, again, there's not as much camera control here, guys, so I'm going to do my best to pick up everything going into turn 1. I don't think we have the same issues in this as that we do sometimes in AC3. Or I'm sorry, in ACC, but we will watch, and off we go to racing. Couple wide runners avoiding traffic. Ryan W pushing out front quickly in front of Sarge. But again, Sarge not giving that position up easily and is going to look to take it back. Dan Double O Alpha sticking right with him, and we take a look here. Ryan W has pulled away a little bit, half a second now off of Sarge, with Dan, though, right there with him as the pack continues to tighten up front. I will say the live timing in this is much, much better than it is in ACC. So we got that going for us. Really showing the tight interval. Everybody on track today, starting out with soft tires, except for Fawn, who is now running back over 3 seconds behind Lay Off My Salt. The rest of the pack staying relatively tight up through here. CRS Ben back a little bit, and we got a bad slide right there from Lay Off My Salt as he attempts to bring it back on track. CRS Ben now moving back up in front of him. Fastest lap so far, Ryan W, the 131.6. And we saw from qual, those are going to get faster. Dan Double O Alpha now all the way running up front. No, they're not. No, they're not. See, things are getting weird already. See, why do they show Fawn in first? He's in the pit. He's in last. We're going to have to figure this out. Looks like Lay Off My Salt. Let's go and take a quick... Oh, virtual safety car now. Going to slow things down. Bugmaster's at it again. Yeah, this is a little weird how Fawn is now showing in first. Again, when we know he went into the pits, I believe Ryan should be in first, if I'm thinking right. If not Dan, who now shows in fourth. So things have spread out a bit, but again, there we go. Thank you. We have reset with Ryan in first, Sarge in second, and Dan Double O Alpha in third under a virtual safety car at this time. Lay off my salt, grayed out. Let's take a quick look at the race director while we're under that safety car. So again, Ryan W., the entire paddock today running soft tires except for Fawn, who stuck with the mediums after his pit stop. We've already had, right there, we see it, Fawn collided with Lay Off My Salt, and Lay Off My Salt right there showing the same with that collision between the two of them. And IMC Fawn, the only one so far to need to go in for a front wing repair today. Lay Off My Salt with a did not finish after that incident. So we jump back in. Ryan W. still leading the pack, Dan right behind him, and Furry Jules having moved up through. Tsunami pulls the first time penalty today, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Ryan, the season 2 and 3 champ, I've been told, now leading the pack in this fun race today at Bahrain. Yeah, again, guys, I gotta say the live timing in this game isn't quite there yet, because I have a problem believing Furry Jules is 1 minute and 36 seconds behind Dan, who's not even showing a time at this point. So, I'm gonna try and keep an eye on things best I can, folks. Furry Jules with Enter Tsunami right behind him, and we see our fastest laps are coming down already. Ryan W. 129.9. Not down to qual pace yet, but I have a feeling folks will get closer to that. We'll see if Tsunami wants to make the push on Furry Jules. 5-second penalty to Sin Sin God now speeding in the pit lanes as Sergeant Rainbow and Sin Sin God both hit the pits. Tsunami making the move and cleanly taking that corner to get ahead of Furry Jules. And now with 3 drivers in the pits, CRS Ben releasing and on his way out now. Well, things are trying to get better with the timings. So with Ryan W. with 4 laps down out of our 29 lap race today. Ryan W. leading the pack. Dan 00 Alpha 3 seconds off that pace at this time. Enter Tsunami another 4 back and holding that penalty. With Furry Jules still sticking with him though. This is our current battle. We'll see if it sticks, but Sergeant and Sin Sin got as well back here. Bigelow taking a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit warnings. And we have a new fastest lap from Ryan W. Again, bringing that time down closer and closer to our qual times. Furry Jules not wanting to give up that number 3 position for a podium today. And really, he doesn't need to pass him, does he? He just did. But he doesn't need to. All he's got to do is stick with Tsunami, who has pulled, I believe, a 3-second penalty. So he keeps that within 3 seconds of him. And he automatically can grab that number 3 position at the end of the race. But Tsunami looking now to keep it pulled ahead and see it get as much distance between the two of them as possible. We see now as Sergeant Rainbow, CRS Ben now have moved to the medium tires. Sin Sin again sticking right with Sergeant. Ooh, excuse me. Chair decided to squeak on me. On the tile. Taking a look up through, Tsunami again is holding his own now and got a little bit of a gap on Furry Jules. And we'll see if they tighten it up. And we've lost Racers, I believe. Simpson now setting the new fastest lap with a 129, just about flat, and able to pull ahead of Sargent. Still in that soft compound. CRS Ben now out. As we watch these guys run side by side, Sargent trying so hard to take that spot back and is able to claim it for now. Little bit of a wobble from Simpson there, but still able to keep it tight. And again, Simpson just showing a little bit of looseness in the back end and wondering if his tires are starting to get the better of him, even only 7 laps in. I would certainly say that, Stefes. We haven't been looking at anybody else recently, but just taking a look up through with the groups pretty well spread out now. Again, I hate to take, and Simpson got is again taking that position back. And now Sargent back out in front. These guys are going to trade places all day, but nice, clean racing. Excellent clean racing. Uh-oh, and Sargent, I believe, has now had a problem. Yeah, we had a spin. Great battle, though. I didn't see any contact. Let's go and take a look at the race director and see, just to make sure there were no incidents. Collision up there. That's those two. Yeah. Yep. Furry Jules and Enter Tsunami. So I don't see anything between those two to show that there was any sort of collision between them. CRS Ben has retired, so he is now out of the race. And we are down to 8 racers today. And as we watch here a little bit, I am going to make some changes to my setup because this is very different than what it was before. So I really want to move things around on my screen and make it easier for this and other races in the future, whether this or ACC. You jinxed him. Yeah. See, at least I can blame you this time. Nobody can blame me for the commentator's curse, right? Ryan W. still running it out. Holding on to first. Has really opened up against Dan 00 Alpha at this point. Our entire field very spread out to this point, except for Sinsingod. And now Furry Jules. Both in those Hondas. Well, let's keep our focus here for a little bit. See if we're going to get another great battle like we had with Sinsin and Sarge. Up until Sarge was no longer able to hold on. And as we look, we see Bigelow's headed into the pits. He's now moved to the hard compound tires as he heads back out. What did I miss here? Or is this just wrong again? This has got to be just wrong again, right? Seems to be when people pit that things get really weird because unless Ryan completely tossed it off the track, which I don't think, I think we would have caught. Pretty sure he's still running in first with Dan in second. There's a 6-second split between them, right? So I got a hard time believing that. So we'll take a wait here and see if this thing can readjust itself. Ryan W. into the, oh, that's why Ryan into the pits. Gotcha. Ryan into the pits to set those mediums. So now Dan and Tsunami up front. Yep, 0 laps. Thanks, Ted. I missed that. But now we see Tsunami dropping into the pits, and we'll see what he ends up switching to. As he drives it back out, he has as well, much like Bigelow, gone to the hard compound tires. And we'll see how long it takes before Dan decides it's time to come in and run his pit strategy. So Bigelow going for a one-stopper on hards. So I would assume Tsunami's probably looking to do the same thing, maybe. Which seems only 10 laps in. Seems like it could be pretty difficult to do. Even on the hard compound. That's a lot of laps left. But Dan definitely trying to hold on for as long as possible on those soft tires. But I gotta figure at this point, 29 laps, 2 stops, right? If he stays on softs, he could certainly do 2 stops and stay on soft compound tires the whole time. Everyone now, it looks like, having pitted except Dan, now putting 10 laps on those soft tires. Has to use at least one different compound. Gotcha. See, I'm here to learn today. And again, all the drivers watching right now, after the race, I encourage you to watch again and hit it up on Green Hell or on the channel's Discord and let me know what could be better. If I am missing stuff, by all means, hit me up and let me know so that we can provide the best experience possible here for F1 racing. So you can go soft, soft, medium, but not soft, soft, soft. Gotcha. So again, using what you said, Steadfast, I assume the Bigelow and the Tsunami of going from soft to hard is fine for a one stop because it's 2 different tire compounds, correct? Perfect. Thank you, sir. So as we take a look back, Dan still not heading into the pits at this point. 10 laps on those tires. But Ryan W., and as he heads in now, we will see Ryan close that gap quickly and get back out in front, I'm sure. Maybe. Yeah, Ryan's going to get back out in front. It'll be curious to see if Tsunami can get there or not. I think he's back far enough that he is not going to be able to. As we watch Dan already heading back out, putting himself on mediums for this next stint of tires. And at this point, coming out a full 12, about 12 seconds behind Ryan. So, again, really, this is where pit stops matter, right? More than likely, both Ryan and Dan going to have to stop again. We'll have to see if Tsunami does, sitting on those hards. And yeah, 17 to go. Maybe Dan can do 1 stop on mediums. That's what I was going to say. It's going to see where that plays out, right? Because Ryan, he's 2 laps deep on the mediums already. Stopped, 2 laps before Dan did. Tsunami putting those hards on. The question is, can Dan and Ryan both stay out on the mediums till the end of the race? Again, taking a look back through the ranks. We start up front. Ryan, I'm sorry. Yeah, I meant to go right to Dan. Ryan W. still holding the lead 12 seconds over Dan 00 Alpha. But again, Dan fresh on those mediums. We'll see if Ryan can make it all the way to the end on those. Enter Tsunami has pitted and put only one lap on those hards, on the hard compound tires, and maybe going to try and stretch those. Furry Jules 3 laps. Stuck with the soft tires. Obviously, more than likely going to have to go in. I don't see those lasting all the way to the end of the race. Bigelow and Cincinnati got both, again, switching up to the hard compound tires. See if I can stretch them out. And bringing up the rear end right now, Sargent and Fawn. Again, Sarge on the soft tires and Fawn holding with 9 laps on those mediums. He had to pit way, way early, though. And I'm wondering if he's not going to try and at least stretch those out to only do one more stop. And Dan holding about a second over Tsunami right now. I'm going to take a quick look again. And we can see Simpson and Sarge both already having to make 2 pit stops each. Everyone else just on 1. Be impressed if Dan can make the mediums last. Yeah, it seems like a lot. Again, I am not the F1 fan that all of you are, but that does seem like a long time to go all the way to the end of the race. Taking a look back just to see and make sure we haven't missed anything. Terminal damage to lay off my salt. That's why. Okay. That's too bad. Go down through here. Collision with Tsunami. We saw that one. Everyone else spread out. Getting a few warnings coming in, right? But they've thinned out as we go. Bigelow having pulled that 3-second penalty along with Tsunami. And Sinsengad, 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Now, hey, Steadfast, since you're there, why is Sinsengad no longer showing a 5-second penalty flag? Answer that one, sir. That's why Steadfast, Steadfast, you should have just joined up and talked with me, man. We could have worked all this out. There we see Sargent now, multiple warnings for track limits, 3-second penalty to him. Everybody pulling penalties today. We'll see how many more get run down. Had to step away for a few minutes. No problem, man. You got, and hey, to everybody in the chat, congrats to Steadfast. New baby. Right? New baby. So congratulations. I'm sure he's all tuckered out. Sure he is enjoying the race as much as he can when he doesn't have to step away to be on baby duty. I remember what that's like. It's been a long time, but I do remember it. I doubt that I would be able to do what I'm doing right now if my children were still that young. That's for sure. So big ups to you, Steadfast, man. So happy to hear that everybody's healthy and happy, and hopefully, if not home yet, home very soon. If you are there, this is an eye-opener. Is this your first, Steadfast, I assume? I gotta assume it's your first, you saying that. So if anybody in the chat has advice for Steadfast with a brand new baby, let him know. Shout it out. Yes, it is. Awesome, man. Listen, dude, you're gonna love it. There's things to love. There's things to hate. Let me put it this way. And I'll tell you what I've learned over my 17 years of being a parent. 17 with one and 14 with another. As we watch this battle go down between Sin and Sargent. I'll tell you what I learned over my 17 years. There is but one difference. There's one difference between the person out there in the world who we know are evil. I mean, they're just evil. That would hit a child or smack a child, right? My wife and I are not spankers. We never have been. But there's but one difference between them and the rest of us. And it's willpower. 100%. Because that child is going to push every one of your buttons. Buttons you don't even know you have yet are going to get pushed by that child. right? And here's the other thing you have to remember. To Red's point, and I was getting to that, Red, you didn't let me finish. See, I had boys, so I got to look out for 2 wieners. You had a girl. You're going to have to look out for every wiener within a 3-county area. I'm just saying. So, something to keep in mind. Just something to keep in mind. But you know what? You raise them right. You put a good head on their shoulders. You know, as much as Red and I joke around, I've taught my kids to be respectful. My wife and I both, you know, teach them to be respectful. Teach them to do the right thing. You teach your girl the same thing, man, she'll be all set. She'll know how to handle herself. I have no doubt. Not a doubt in my mind. Don't be like Red yelling passwords across the house because your kid's asking you for passwords in the middle of racing or something. I don't know what he does. But they will stress you. She can, man. She'll be able to deal. You'll do the right thing, man. You'll have her set up. She'll be able to deal with it. No problem, man. Give them the tools. Trust them to make the decisions you want them to make, right? Doesn't always seem like they'll make the right one. And something else, let them fail. Let them fail. It's been a matter of contention about letting them fail. Let them fail. Let your daughter fail at something. I'm not saying fail at school. I'm not saying fail where it's going to get them or someone else hurt. I'm saying let them fail. Yep, you failed at something. You weren't good at it immediately. Pick yourself up. Go do it again. You know, cheesy as it sounds, if we go and look at it, I love movies, right? I learn a lot from movies. I love movies. I'm a cinephile. I love watching films. I love watching movies. You go back to The Dark Knight, straight up. Why do we fall? So we can pick ourselves back up. And that's the biggest lesson you can give them, I think, is teaching them to be able to pick themselves back up when something happens. And now we're talking about kids. I'm all distracted. We don't notice that Furry heading back into the pits to swap out those mediums. We'll take a quick look and see a lot of switching over to hards at this point. I think a lot of folks may be trying to hold on to the end of the race. And if you are there steadfast, I know you're having to walk away from time to time. Careful, Red. You typed the wrong thing. Ruin's going to come back and smack you with it. Steadfast, if you are there, I have a quick question for you. We took a look at penalties, and now again another one has cleared now. And is it because they did something right? So like Sin God had a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but I am no longer seeing a penalty flag next to Sin God's name. Why is that? That was my curiosity earlier. Again, if you're not on baby duty, if you got a minute, or maybe Red can tell me. So Furry Jules back out on mediums. Didn't really lose much. Bigelow able to pick up a position during that. So pit lane speeding penalties can be served at the start of the next stop. Gotcha. Can't be served in the pit. So okay. So Sin goes into the next stop, sits there for 5 seconds, then does the pit stop, then takes off. That clears that penalty, I guess. Gotcha. So you're serving it one way or another. Either let it roll to the end of the race, or go ahead and serve it when you go in the next time. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Learning the ins and the outs, ladies and gentlemen. Live and on the fly. As we go back into Race Director real quick, just take a fast look here at tire types. And now we've seen Sargent has had to pit 3 times already. Definitely trading up tires. Fawn in twice. Ryan W. only once so far. And another thing I'm going to have to learn is all these little colors right there next to the vehicle or the team names so that I can ensure I know who's racing for who as we move forward. I'm sure I'll forget quite a bit. Sector 1 flag down to 10 laps left. Dan 00 Alpha still holding on into second right there, but now 12.9 off the pace of Ryan W. with Enter Tsunami now 15 back, almost 16 seconds back off of Dan in our top 3. Mr. Montoya, thank you so much for joining. You are watching live GHR Green Hell Racing's F1 League today. And again, folks, while we're watching here, just to mention again for anybody that wasn't around earlier, this today is a fun race, social race. The guys are not racing for points. However, we will be back next Saturday and for the next 12 weeks with F1 Pro and Am class races. And don't forget, that does not take away from the fact that we have our Assetto Corsa Competizione guys racing GT3 every Sunday at 12:45 Eastern. I don't know exactly. I think these guys are 12:45 on Saturdays. I'll have to check, just so I'm 100% sure. I'll check with Dan after the race. Oh yeah, Montoya, we love racing. We're all about racing. We don't even mind what kind of racing. We'll do kart races soon. We were doing Wreckfest last night. We do all kinds of racing. But yeah, our F1 league is starting their season 4, 12 weeks of racing, and the schedule is posted there on the channel, so you can see where they're going and when. And again, I will adjust that as time permits to make sure I'm capturing the right time, so you know when to be here. F1 on Saturdays, GT3 on Sundays, with the GT Endurance race coming up very, very soon. And we see now Sargent out with a DNF. Let's go take a look and see if something happened. We did see a yellow flag pop, right? So as we take a look, terminal damage. Sargent running for Williams, unable to finish today's race. And the run gets thinner and thinner with Ryan W. still holding on. 10 laps now on those medium compound tires. Only 9 left. Wondering if he's going to be able to stretch that out and hold on the whole time, along with Dan. Again, only 7 laps on those tires that he's running the same compound. But Tsunami, having put the hards on, 9 laps into him. But I'm thinking he may be able to hold on to the end. So really it's going to come down to whether or not Ryan and Dan can make those tires last until the end of the race. And much like watching the guys race ACC on Sundays, this just motivates me to go sit down afterwards and do a little driving myself and try and understand and get better at this F1 stuff. When am I going to race? You probably, I mean, actual racing and not screwing around on Friday nights, you probably won't see that from me until September. I'm waiting for an upgrade to my race equipment that won't get here until about September 10th or September 15th. So, you know, if there's a season running at the time, I'll just start practicing between, you know, till the end of that season and then pick up with the next one. So it'll probably be October or so before you really see me racing again with these guys. I don't know. I love it, but I cannot bring myself to do a lot of it and do the practice I need, knowing that I have a direct drive wheelbase on the way, and really waiting to be able to use my new equipment. But next week, I think on Tuesday, probably be doing a stream on Tuesday of just chatting to add the performance kit and the damper kit to my new Club Sport pedals. We'll change those out, do it right on stream, and watch the videos and everything together. We'll see how that works out. And then upgrade firmware. I'd like to get that done before the wheelbase gets here, so we'll be all set. I do, Montoya. I have, and most of these, I think all these guys do. We have a few guys that race on controller, but very few. Most everybody has a setup of some sort. Mine is what I will call quote-unquote portable setup, because I have to be able to put it away. I don't have the space to have a full setup yet with my 17-year-old in the house. That's the other thing, Steadfast, they never leave. They never leave. They never leave. They're there forever. And I love my kids. Don't misunderstand. I absolutely adore my children. Get out of my house. That's all just go. You gotta go. Anyway, yeah, Montoya, most of us have steering wheels, pedals, everything that we race with. Myself, I have a G920 hooked to my Xbox. It's okay. It's a great beginner wheel. That's why I got it, because it runs for about $300 or $350. Comes with the wheel, the base, the pedals. Allows you a place to get started. Because I didn't want to put a lot of money into it, not knowing how much I would enjoy it. But now, Fanatec announced their new CSL direct drive wheel and wheelbase, and so now I am waiting for that. So once that comes in, I'll be getting it together. There we get a look right there at tire performance. I wish they would show this stuff more often. Dan 00 Alpha now up front. Ryan having gone into the pits on us as I was jabbering away. Ryan having gone back into the pits and put the soft compound back on, along with Tsunami, who could not make those hards last the entire rest of the race. He went from the hard compound back down to the softs. So obviously not planning on going in again with only 7 laps left, but definitely had to make that one last stop. So even, I don't know, maybe Steadfast can say, but I guess a little surprising. So that maybe he had to go in. But that puts Dan back out up front, but only holding a 6.3 interval over Ryan W., who is now on fresh tires for those last 7 laps. So again, as we talked about before, it's really coming back to can Dan, and we wondered if Ryan would be able to, right? And obviously he could not stretch those mediums all the way to the end of the race, and he only had an extra 2 laps on him. So it's going to get curious as to whether or not Dan can make those last the entire race and bring it all the way home, because if he stops again and Ryan's cutting the interval down already, right? We're down to 5.8 seconds over the 6 we saw a little bit earlier. Really going to come down to whether or not Dan can stretch those medium tires the whole time. And with Ryan on fresh tires, it looks like he is shutting down and Dan just lost it into the dirt and off the track. Back on quickly, but that's going to obviously cut that gap way, way down and give Ryan the opening he needs to at least catch up with him, even if Dan tries to stretch those tires out. Any other day other than Monday, other than Tuesday? You know what, Red? If they get here early enough on Monday, maybe I'll do it Monday, man, so you can join in and we can chat about it while I do that. So. Fiance's grandparents are huge in F1. Yeah, I'll tell you, Montoya, I am not an F1 person. I watch it once in a while. It's just that it's not on at times when I can typically sit down and watch a race. I do enjoy F1. GT3 racing is my hook, 100%. I like the vehicles better and some of the drivers and whatnot. But I could definitely get into F1. I like MotoGP as well, watching that racing. But the races are never on when I can watch them, and I always forget to record them. So. That's that interval now down to, and we could see Dan getting real loose in the rear end coming around some of these corners. Those tires have got to be getting worn with 11 laps on them, and Ryan now only 1.2 off of Dan's pace. But, I don't know, strategy-wise, how much fighting you going to do, particularly given the fact that you're going to struggle to hold on, right? You're going to be, the grip is just not always going to be there. You're going to have to feel pressure from Ryan the whole time. Do you just dive into the pits, get fresh tires on for the last 5 laps, and let Ryan take it? You've got 34 seconds over Tsunami, so you're going to place in second, right? Good try. It's done now. Ryan on fresh sauce will be through soon, yeah. And Ryan just riding right up on him, going a little wide now. But not putting, there we go. And Ryan shoots the gap and is around on the inside very quickly on Dan, which I'm sure he had to know was going to happen. But still not wanting to give it up that easily. Dan is going to look to stick with him, pushing him a little wide. Dan able to squeak it back front wide. And Ryan back right to it. But these guys are going to trade pokes until the end of this race. 4 laps left. I don't think Dan's going to want to drop into the pits. I really don't. And we see an incident further back as the guys are able to cleanly get around. Ryan now holding it up, opening up 1.5 over Dan. So again, now if I'm Dan, do I go ahead and drop in? I mean, there's 3 laps left. I don't know. At this point, the pressure's off, right? Hold it and go. If you can hold it. The problem being is if you throw yourself off the track like we've already seen happen, I'm sure due to a lack of real good grip, given how long those tires have been on, you know, does he take the chance that Tsunami's going to be able to get around him and take that number 2 slot? Ruin going to races. I would love to go to a race. In fact, well, not this year, but I'm thinking 6 hours at the Glen is going to happen in 2023. I'm really hoping. Again, GT3, not F1, but really, really hoping I get down there for that. I don't even know if there is an IndyCar race at the Glen, at Watkins Glen. Chief would know. Red might know. I'm sorry, I meant 2022. GT World Challenge, September 19th. So Ryan now really stretching that out. Dan struggling to hold on at this point. And make those tires work, but great job on his part to get a 1 stop in and still maintain second, even with the grip loss he's suffering. Tsunami holding steady in third, with Sinsingod still back there, having cleared his penalty. But Bigelow now tighten up on the back of Sinsin on fresh tires to the 13 laps on Sin's hard compound. And 2 laps remaining. We'll have to see if Deuce Bigelow can make the move. Get himself up into number 4 before the end of this. And there we have it. Just that easy. Just that easy. Such clean racing from these guys today. It's good to see. Great to see. You guys keeping it real clean. Didn't see a whole lot of smacking around, which is always a good thing. And Sinsin dropping way back after that pass. Furry Jules still out there. And Fawn able to finish out in 7th at this point with a little over 1 lap left. After struggling in qual, was able to bring himself up a little bit. Be able to continue to watch him during the season and see how well he does. Ryan W. has opened it up 6.5 seconds over Dan. So as we start to run down here, folks, just going to review it one more time for everybody. Keep in mind, today's a preseason social race. The F1 season for Green Hell Racing starts next Saturday. Time will be posted to the channel schedule. I think I've got it set in at 12:45. I'm not sure these guys are doing it at the same time or not. And there we see somebody spinning. It's like Furry Jules lost a little bit there. Actually, Sinsen, I believe, is the one that spun. They both both in the those Red Bull racing cars. So it's a little hard to tell, especially when they're on the track right next to each other. But look, I think Sinsin's the one giving he's back now 20 seconds off Bigelow. I believe he's the one that probably dropped off and had a little trouble. But again, F1 racing. Next Saturday, season starts, 12 weeks. I'll update the times once I've confirmed them with Dan. But you can come back every Saturday for F1 racing right here on the channel, and we will be covering that, both pro and am class races. Then come Sundays, not starting, the season's already going, but continuing tomorrow, I should say, we have our Xbox ACC, Assetto Corsa Competizione League, that runs every Sunday. Pro and am races starting at 12:45 Eastern Time. We will be here tomorrow to cover those. A lot of times I am covered, or I should say joined by Mr. Red Rider or Chief Blaze during the pro race, and then AM follows directly afterwards. So be sure and keep coming back here for all Green Hell Racing coverage. Again, there may be times that I can't cover races due to family obligations or what have you. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to try and make as many as I can. As we watch the end of the race here, Ryan W. coming in at number 1. Dan Double Alpha securing that number 2 position. Tsunami coming down now to finish out, but with that penalty, we'll see where that lands him. And Bigelow looking to come in and finish his race out today. And Sinsin God, let's go take a real quick look at Race Director, see what happened. Sin hit a DNF right at the end. Let's go back down here and take a look and see what kind of incidents we might have had right at the end. Sinsin exceeded track limits, terminal damage right at the end of the race. So we had a couple of those today, right? Sergeant Sinsin. Sinsin also had terminal damage at the end of during the qualifying. So obviously a track that he might have a little trouble with. But going down through these guys, I mean, listen, I love this because now we can take a look at the end of the race. And again, there's so much more here. And they're going to kick me out now, I guess. But I should be able to get back into the race director. Point being is, I think, what do we have? 2 incidents on the list, right? We had 2 incidents between vehicles on the list. Driver of the day, UCE Bigelow, making the big moves, the big man. Again, probably happy I'm not on the grid with him, given what happened the last time we drove together at Bathurst. It was not fun for either one of us. I felt bad about myself for a long time. So, almost a full grid. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and there's a ton of people joined this week, Montoya. So I think you're gonna see a lot of people joining the race. And listen, Montoya, if you're interested, seriously, even if you're not sure that you would want to race, right there, folks, GHR Green Hell Racing, come on over and join the party. Even if you're not 100% sure you want to race right away, come in. Look, I got a lot better at my driving skill just joining these guys, even for fun races and stuff. Now, again, that was GT3, but it's a welcoming group. People take it seriously, but not overly so. If you make a mistake, own up to it, apologize, things like that, right? If you cause an incident during the race, for the most part, everybody's very chill. They understand there are penalties released after races, things like that. We do track that stuff. But as long as you do your best to be clean and you improve as you go and, don't make the same mistakes again, I think, well, and again, man, I get it, right? You're on a controller, but if it's something you're really interested in, if you ever decide, come hit us up. Green Hell Racing. Again, I would not have stayed if it wasn't the way it was, which was very chill. Nobody takes it too seriously. And we take a real quick look here at the grid before we get kicked out. Ryan W, Dan W Alpha, and Enter Tsunami on the podium today, with Bigelow moving himself up big. 2 penalties for 6 seconds though. But certainly, 2 penalties for 6 seconds. That's best. Okay, got it. As we kick on through. And that will do it for today's race at Bahrain, everyone. I thank you all so much for joining me. There you go. Controller. Right there, you got it, Montoya. You got a controller driver right there from Tsunami, and you saw how he performed today, right? You don't need a full race rig, right? You don't need a full race rig. At the end of the day, we're all here to have fun. If you want to join in and you want to have a good time, I'm telling you, the Green Hell group is good. You can take your time, come in on fun races, things like that, and you know, there's no pressure to jump in and make every race. If you're busy, you're busy a week. You miss a week, you miss a week. It's okay. You know, the F1 guys are a little different. Maybe you talk to them and see exactly what's going on. But my point being is, no matter what kind of racing you want to do, Green Hell has it, and we have a good time doing it. So, again, I thank everybody for joining me today. As I always do, because it's the right thing to do, we are going to do a raid and see who's online real quick to at least try and jump over. I was going to go see if anybody had, if anybody was driving ACC or even F1. Let's take a look at F1, right? And see if anybody's running right now. And maybe you guys can go catch another race. Live. Let's see here. This guy's live. This guy's live, and he's English too, so that's good versus German. Oh, and he just wiped out too. So hard to find good racing because a lot of them are English, or they're not English, they're German, they're Dutch, things like that. And I'm not that there's anything wrong with those people, except for Zorax. Do my best to try and go to see people that are speaking English so that everyone can enjoy it. Here we go, GT Gaming. Perfect. GT96 Gaming is playing F1 2021 right now. So let's go run a raid real quick and just everybody jump over there. If you want to continue to watch racing, this is the way to do it. But again, I thank everybody for being here. Very much appreciated. Be back tomorrow for GT3 Assetto Corsa Competizione. 2 races. Pro Am starts at 12:45 Eastern tomorrow, and all the action will be right here on this channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Ruin. Thank you to Red. Steadfast for your help during the race. Dan, thank you so much. Everybody who's here, thank you all. I'm not trying to forget anybody, but I do appreciate every one of you for coming as we go take a look at GT96. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.